All right, so we're going to be talking about how to pick what college to attend. So this is going to cover a number of things. So let's start with the recap of how do you decide what factors play. So you need to figure out which of these are most important to you. So this would be the cost of attendance, how far it is from home, campus size, campus setting, if they have your major field of study, and what extracurricular things they offer, such as intramural sports, student organizations, job experience, study abroad, fraternity and sorority life, things like that. So what I suggest is using the 3-2-2 method. So what this is that you're going to have 3 schools that match you. So this is when your academics line up with the average academics of the students that are accepted there. 2 safety schools. So this is if your academics are slightly above the average. And then 2 reach schools. So this is where you are slightly below the average, okay? That's just a quick recap, and I'm going to give you a scenario to help understand that better. So if we look here, what are we specifically looking for? So we're looking at their ACT or SAT scores, high school GPA, and their acceptance rate. So say I'm applying to college and I have a 21 my ACT score is a 21 and my high school GPA is a 3.5. These are what I'm going to use when determining what schools fall into my match, my reach, and my safety. So let's start with match. So let's start with Ohio University. The average ACT score is 21 to 24. High school GPA is a 3.54, and their acceptance rate is an 85%. This means that I am a match to OU. Next up, we have the University of Akron. ACT is 18 to 26, high school GPA 3.5, and acceptance rate is 69%. Once again, a match. And lastly, we have Bowling Green, which is ACT of 19 to 24, high school GPA of 3.4, and acceptance rate of 72. So once again, these are all matches. Now if we look at reaches. So Ohio State, the ACT is a 27 to 32, GPA is a 3.8, and acceptance rate is 52%. So you see I am below that, but it's a reach school, so I can still apply. Case Western, the ACT score is a 30 to 34, GPA is a 3.99, and acceptance rate is only 29.3%. So once again, we're looking at a reach. And then University of Cincinnati, we've got a 24 to 29 ACT, a 3.7, and a 77% acceptance rate. So of these 3 reach schools, University of Cincinnati is the best option to apply for in terms of a reach school. And then we're going to look at some safety schools. So Malone University, the ACT score ranges from 19 to 25, and the GPA is a 3.3. Acceptance rate is 70%. Therefore, it is a safety for me. Kent State, ACT of 20 to 25, GPA 3.38, and acceptance rate of 85. And then Cleveland State. So we've got ACT score of 19 to 25, GPA of 3.37, and an 88% acceptance rate. All right, so to recap, safety schools, we have Malone, Kent, Cleveland, match. We have OU, Akron, and BG. And then for reach, we have Ohio State, Case Western, and Cincinnati. So I've applied and I've been accepted places. Now what do? Well, you're going to need to compare the schools. So you could start by ranking them from your top choice to your least, and then from there, actually comparing them. So what specifically do you need to compare? Well, you need to make sure that, 1, the school has your major, or if you don't know what you want to major in, that they have a broad variety of majors. You need to see what schools are offering you the best financial aid, if it's the distance from home that you're willing to go, and if they have the student involvement that you're looking for. So let's look at that financial aid piece. When you're accepted to a college or university, you're usually going to get what's known as a financial aid award. So it would look something like this. Obviously, the numbers on this are pretty skewed, but if you look, this is a mock of one. It's not real, so we're going to take a look at it. So if we start by looking at the free money or the gift money, so grants and scholarships, we want that to be most of where our money is coming from. So if we look at this one, you're seeing $30,000 in gift money. And then if we look in the red, you can see that's about $6,500 in loans. So if this was school A that you were really liking, and that's the price difference, then it's definitely one to consider because you have less money coming out in the form of a loan. So this is what an actual financial aid award would look like. I took mine from my senior year of college, and you can see that there is a scholarship on there. There is 3 grants, I'm so sorry. And then there's some loans on there, right? What you don't see on here is what I was paying for. So this is just the estimated amount of money that they thought that I was going to need. So obviously this covered all of my classes. So my tuition, books, fees. It also covered my housing and my food because my senior year I did live on campus. Okay? So that's something to look into. So you can see that that's a bigger number for a loan there at the bottom, but that's what covered my food and my room and board. Something to keep in mind. So these are real numbers, right? And if they offer you, say, $12,000, but you only need $8,000, you can counter it and take the lower amount. So keep that in mind as well. So now that we have looked at the financial aspect, let's look at the actual program requirements. So what I'm going to show you right here is we're going to go ahead and look at Akron and Kent State's AYA programs for integrated language arts. So what are you really looking for? Well, most of them are going to be similar, but you kind of just want to take a look and see if there's any course that you're questioning or not sure about. And if you need help looking at a roadmap or program requirements, I'd be happy to help. But so you can see here, right here, we have like Intro to Public Speaking, over here, Intro to Human Communication. This is the same class, right? It's some sort of communication class that you're going to have to take. So if we keep scrolling, we're seeing, okay, they want me to take 9 credits of arts and humanities over here. What do they require me to have? And then you would go ahead and compare through there. I think for this one, university requirements is where theirs would be. And things like that. So you kind of just filter through them to look at the differences and the similarities. So we see right here, total credit hour requirement, 120, which is going to be your standard. So we look over here. This is just one part of it. So we would have to add all of these numbers up to get the requirement. So if we look right here, 120. So it's going to take us the same amount of time, right? So just kind of looking at them and seeing the differences. All right. So once you've done that, or if you don't really know how to read your documentations, that's completely fine and totally understandable. I am more than happy to sit down with you and help you with that. All you have to do is shoot me an email or sign up on the guidance request form, okay?